Good. Good morning, everyone. The Delaware County Commissioner meeting for May 24th, 2021 is now in session. Would you stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Again, good morning, everyone. I'm Gary Merrill, President of the Board this year. To my left is Vice President Commissioner Lewis. To my right is Commissioner Jeff Penn. And with us, we have Mike Cromer and Don with us today as well. Is it first? Sarah and Jennifer. Can't hear me? Let's proceed.
Resolution number 21-434 in the matter of approving the electronic record of proceedings from regular meeting held May 20th, 2021.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion. Vote.
Vote on motion 21-434. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 21-435 in the matter of approving purchase orders and now certificates and payments of warrants in batch number CM APR 0521.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion. Vote.
Vote on motion 21-435. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 21-436 in the matter of canceling the Commissioners' sessions scheduled for Thursday, July 1st, 2021, Thursday, July 8th, 2021, Thursday, July 15th, 2021, Thursday, July 22nd, 2021, and Thursday, September 9th, 2021.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion. Vote.
Vote on motion 21-436. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 21-437 in the matter of accepting the award of the PRE Targeted Implementation Planning and Support Grant for the Delaware County Sheriff's Department.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion.
Hi, Dean Stelzer, Delaware County Sheriff's Department. This grant is actually associated with the jail's effort to get accredited. And last year at some point in time they had reached out. We're looking for some funding to assist with complying with PREA regulations, federal regulations, Prison Rape Elimination Act legislation. And they were able to identify a source of funds that could help offset that whole process. They did obtain some funds, so there wasn't a formal approval of a request to apply for a grant, but they did receive a grant. We've been kind of working with the entity that's facilitating the process and getting everything lined up. The resolution accepts that grant. There is a 50% county match, the bulk of which will be just personnel costs for existing staff. We won't be hiring anybody. There's a little bit of outside contract work with the people that are facilitate, are getting compliant. But this grant period will extend till I think June of next year, so we need to complete the process. So we'll be looking at also appropriating some funds for this year, and then the bulk of it will occur in next year's budget process. I have Assistant Jail Director Nick Carafa here with me. If you had any questions about the actual grant, the PREA requirements, or anything related to that, he can answer those questions better than I.
Questions or comments?
And what will the certification do for the jail?
Please.
What will the certification do for the jail? Well, that is kind of loud, isn't it?
Yes.
With air conditioning.
We've asked Mr. Melvin about that.
I was going to ask him about that. We'll finish this first.
The PREA certification is, something to set us at best practices, certainly reduce liability, and give us like a national standard of, how we should go about, addressing any sexual misconduct type allegations or matters concerning that. That's probably one of the biggest things, is to really reduce liability and kind of certifying that we're doing everything the best way possible when it comes to, enforcing the requirements and everything set forth in the Prison Rape Elimination Act. There's probably like 160 some standards. So we get an audit every 3 years. They kind of go through and do a walkthrough. It's like a week-long process and then they'll give us the certification that we're a CREA compliant facility. All the ODRC, Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections facilities at the state level are all CREA certified, all the CBCFs. So we're wanting to move in that direction too, to make sure that we're doing everything the right way.
Any other questions or comments?
No, it's a good summary, though, that you provided.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate the summary. I asked about it this morning. I said, where'd this come from? And it's very, very good, very well done. Any other questions or comments? Vote?
Vote on motion 21-437. Mrs. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Benton.
Aye.
Mr. Merrill.
Aye.
Resolution number
I'm
21.
going to stop us. Okay, go ahead, I apologize. Go
Resolution
ahead, get you out of the
number
way, and then I'm going to ask Don to come up.
21-438, in the matter of establishing a new fund, a new organizational key, and approving a transfer of funds and a supplemental appropriation for the Sheriff's Office.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, discussion.
This is actually the resolution to establish the budget. We will, I worked with the auditor's office, and they do want us to set up a separate fund. So we'll have a new fund, a new org key created, and this allocates the funding that we anticipate using in 2021. As I mentioned earlier, we'll come back as part of the 2022 budget and appropriate the balance of the grant fund. Any
Questions or comments? Vote?
Vote on motion 21-438. Mr. Benton.
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Merrill.
Aye.
Resolution number 21-439, in the matter of approving a purchase agreement between the Delaware County Board of Commissioners, the Delaware County Sheriff's Office, and Chimigan Verizon Mail Screen Server.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, discussion.
This request is to approve the purchase of a mail scanner at the jail for incoming mail. A couple years ago, the jail purchased a body scanner that people could go through and they could identify this piece of equipment. It's pretty specialized, and it has the ability to more efficiently and effectively scan incoming mail for illicit drugs and other things like that. The funds to purchase it will come out of the jail's commissary account. It's maintained by the Sheriff's Department. Funding comes from commissions earned on commissary sales at the jail. We're required to spend those funds on equipment and things that help work and deal with and benefit the inmates at the jail. State legislation passed a couple years ago specific legislation allowing for the purchase of these type of equipment devices with commissary profits. So again, Nick's the individual at the jail that's handled this purchase and would be available to answer any questions if you had.
I guess the question I would have is, what's the history of contraband coming in through the mail?
So just this year alone, we've intercepted 12 different articles of mail that are coming in from the outside, and essentially what they are doing, and it's kind of common around Ohio right now, is they're soaking letters or coloring pictures with typically methamphetamines. They'll kind of soak it in the paper, dry the paper, and then try to pass it on through. Then they'll color over it and make it kind of look like it's a kid's picture, but it's typically not, and there's kind of drugs laced in there. Suboxone strips are another big thing that we've been finding that they've been kind of concealing in there. Right now we have like a little field test packet thing where we just kind of rub and spot check a lot of the mail if we have reason to believe that maybe they are coming up and they have a history of this person gets kind of this mail, and anything that seems odd we can kind of spot check it, but it's kind of few and far between. This technology will give us the ability to scan all the mail. You just kind of put it on their little conveyor belt, and it scans it, and it tells you if there's any drugs present, and if there's any cutting agents that they would typically use. It'll recognize any of that. So like I said, just this, from January 1, we've had 12 times where we've hit positive tests. So We're hearing a lot of it around the state as well. It's a big problem in the prison system where they're trying to dilute drugs, soak it into paper, and send it around. We've seen an uptick in it, which we attributed a little bit to the body scanner. They want the drugs in, and this is their reaction to not being able to physically bring it in anymore. So we're just kind of trying to close off another gateway of them trying to convey illegal substances into the jail.
So what happens when you find, you said 12 this year, what happens when you find that? And
We'll call patrol over, and they'll take a report. They'll gather everything, and it's pretty much kicked over to the drug task force. They investigate. All that stuff has to go to the BCI crime lab to be able to verify, because these are all presumptive tests. So it has to go to the state to be verified that it is actually an illicit substance, and then they go through the whole prosecution, law enforcement deal on their end. So we'll probably keep that same process in line. Just for us, we're just trying to keep anything that can cause ODs or keep everybody safe within the confines of the jail.
Boy, what's the effect on people who open that mail?
I'm sorry, I couldn't.
The effect of people who open the mail at the jail then and
Yeah.
discover the meth?
Yeah, they're all gloved up and wear their
Okay.
masks and everything
Okay.
and goggles. So yeah, it's a little bit of a process, but like I said, it's been kind of more prevalent. We've been kind of spot testing them we've had our little test strips for about 2 years, and we've seen probably in the last year a pretty significant uptick.
Wow.
any other questions or comments? Vote.
Vote on motion 21-439. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Thank you, guys.
very much.
Resolution number
So just a
21.
second. Before we get into that, Mr. Benton kind of alluded to it, and I was going to allude to it.
Yes, I
have never had this-
apologize.
We've never had this fan noise before, to my knowledge.
No, we currently the building controls have lost communications. We can't control the building at this point in time. We have a technician and working with MCOR trying to reestablish the building controls, get them back online.
So this is short term.
Yeah, it's defaulted to high, full speed on the fans. So yeah, this is
Well,
a problem.
I don't know the streaming, I'm guessing it gets picked up on that as well, and it's frankly very difficult to hear.
Yes,
So,
I understand. We expressed our displeasure
So your
to the
timing is good.
contractor.
Okay. So anyway,
Yep.
appreciate you taking care of it as soon as possible.
Yep.
Yeah. Aren't you glad you came in?
Timing was perfect.
Yeah, I was making phone calls before, and
Just at the right time.
Proceed.
Resolution number 21-440, in the matter of selecting the 3 most qualified construction managers at risk for the Delaware County Bixby Campus DACC redevelopment for Delaware County.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, discussion.
John Melvin, Director of Facilities. We received a total of 5 proposals, statements of qualifications from construction management firms. Committee went through and unanimously ranked the top 3, which is the first step. Those top 3 are Gilbane, Elford, and Granger. So the next step, we'll provide them a request for pricing proposals. So they'll submit a pricing proposal and some more qualifications. And then we rank those top 3 again, and then factor in their pricing proposals to come up with the top 3 ranking, and then go in contract negotiations with the most qualified, best value firm.
And I'm going to be Commissioner Benton to it. What's the timeline for all this?
So those proposals we do,
I gotta hide my
Yeah,
material
you
here.
better, yeah.
yes, those proposals will be due back in June 16th. We'll do interviews, we'll score them, and then factor in the pricing. We hope to have recognition by the end of June. Just canceled the July 1st meeting, which was what I was planning on shooting stuff. So we'll try to get in before the July 1st. Otherwise, we'll get in there beginning of July.
Okay. Other questions or comments? I knew you were going to, I didn't see your notes, but I knew that's a question you would have been asked, so I beat you to it. So if there's no other questions or comments, vote.
Vote on motion 21-440. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 21-441.
Thank you, John.
In the matter of authorizing and approving the contracts for roadside mowing for 2021.
So moved.
Second?
Motion made and seconded, discussion.
Good morning, Commissioners. Rob Riley, Chief Deputy Engineer. This action would renew the existing contract with Thompson Interstate Mowing for a second year of mowing for our program this year. The work includes 4 rounds of roadside mowing throughout the county, and so we're recommending approval of this.
Questions or comments? Vote.
Vote on motion 21-441. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 21-442, in the matter of approving a professional services contract for the preparation of plans, specifications, and estimate for the project known as Dell CR 124-8.52 Home Road Extension 4A.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion.
I know you're all aware of this project. This includes the home road extension, railroad grade separation over the CSX and Norfolk Southern Railroad. We've negotiated a contract with HDR to provide the design and final construction plans for this project. Before Commissioner Benton asks, I'll give you the timeline. We'll be in through engineering through about 2024. And then targeting construction start in 2025. Biggest reason for the extended time frame is the coordination with the railroads. We have not 1 but 2 railroads with 3 tracks total, so it does take a good bit of coordination to get the railroad approval in this case. So I can answer any questions you may have.
Questions or comments?
So this contract just is the extension from where it ends today. The project was finished last year to Lewis Center Road.
That's correct. This portion will stop just short of Lewis Center Road. We have another contract, another firm working on the intersection at Lewis Center Road. That will be a roundabout.
Okay.
So we've advanced that. We're calling that Phase 4B. And we'll actually be ready to build that before this. So we're shooting for 2023 construction on that project.
Oh, okay. And then from there up to Shanahan, what timeline is that?
So that will be part of the Evans Farm next phases, but we've worked out an agreement with Evans Farm to make sure that section is built by, I believe, the end of 2023 is when we want that section done.
Okay, so the roundabout and that section should be ready, at least now, planned by the end of 23.
That's our goal, yes, sir.
Okay.
Now, I know we bought a farm or an acreage a few years ago. Do we own all the land we need from the railroad track to Lewis Center?
We do not. There's one more parcel owned by Delco Water, but I wouldn't anticipate any difficulty in getting that property.
Other questions or comments?
Where is the roundabout going to be again on Lewis Center?
Yeah, it will be just east of the village of Lewis Center, maybe 1,000 feet east of the railroad tracks.
Okay, thank you.
Pretty close together, those 2 roundabouts, aren't they?
Yeah.
We have
The existing one, you mean?
one at Lewis.
There's one at North Road on the west side, and then this one will be, if you know where the Evans Farm Drive, which is the traffic signal that we haven't turned on yet, this will be just to the west of that, about halfway between the railroad and Evans Farm Drive.
I was referring to the one we have at North and,
Yep,
so they're not that far apart.
yep.
Any other questions or comments? Vote.
Vote on motion 21-442. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Resolution number 21-443, in the matter of approving a capital improvements project contribution agreement with the City of Columbus for roadway improvements, Lyra Drive Extension.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion.
I know you're familiar with this project. We've passed several resolutions prior. This resolution includes a contribution in which we've agreed to help fund the roundabout on Powell Road. That's what we're calling Part 2 of this project. We've been working on acquisition of right-of-way pursuant to a previous agreement. We're working through that and getting the necessary right-of-way for this project, and we'll continue to do so probably through this summer, and then hopefully be in a position to hand this off to Columbus to start the roundabout construction, perhaps this fall. We'll see how quickly the utilities can get out of the way, but we'll keep you updated on that.
And all this is consistent with the agreements we've discussed a year ago?
Yes, sir.
And the road extending Gemini to the north to Powell Road, that's already started, I think.
It has.
Part of
That's
it is.
yes, sir. That's considered part one of the project. That construction contract has already been awarded and underway. My understanding is they'll be probably mostly done with that this summer, and then stop just short of Powell Road, waiting for the roundabout.
Good, that'll be an important transportation entrance and exit to the Polaris area. I think it should really help, so it's good to see it moving along. I know a lot of people worked hard to get this done, so it's good to see it.
Other questions or comments? Vote?
Vote on motion 21-443, Mr. Benton.
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Merrill.
Aye.
Resolution number 21-444, in the matter of reappointing Chris Bosserman, Delaware County Engineer, to the Ohio Public Works Commission District 17 Integrating Committee and appointing Michael Fromerd, County Administrator, as alternate.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion?
Chris has served as our representative for many years, so he's well versed and familiar with the OPWC process, and we are asking for your reappointment of Chris as well as Mike as the alternate.
Questions or comments? Vote?
Vote on motion 21-444, Mr. Merrill.
Aye.
Mr. Benton.
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis.
Aye.
Resolution number 21-445, in the matter of approving right-of-way work permit summary sheet.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion?
These are routine utility installation permits, recommending approval.
Questions or comments? Vote?
Vote on motion 21-445, Mrs. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Merrill.
Aye.
Mr. Benton.
Aye.
Resolution number 21-446, in the matter of approving a ditch maintenance petition and ditch maintenance assessments for the villas at Old Harbor West, Section 1, 2, 3, and Celebration Kia.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion?
This action would place the drainage systems for both of these developments on the county system. Villas at Old Harbor is located at Old State and Hollenbach Road. Includes 90 condo units, and then Celebration Kia is located on Route 23, just north of Heights.
Questions or comments? Vote?
Vote on motion 21-446, Mr. Merrill.
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Benton.
Aye.
Resolution number 21-447, in the matter of approving a partial drainage easement vacation for Oxford Wood subdivision.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion?
Oxford Woods is a small subdivision located in Brown Township. This action would vacate a portion of a drainage easement within that subdivision. The developer has asked to revise that drainage easement to allow a little bit more room for the building footprint on this particular lot. We've looked through this, and there's no issue with this. The drainage easement was a little bit larger than it was actually needed initially, so recommending approval on this.
Questions or comments? Vote?
Vote on motion 21-447, Mr. Benton.
Aye.
Mr. Merrill.
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Resolution number 21-448, in the matter of appointing a local government representative to the Sunbury Meadows Community Development Authority Board of Trustees.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion?
Good morning, Commissioners. Jane Hoggs, Communications Director. This one we have before you with Sunbury Meadows. This is the last appointed position that we have on this board because the population is growing in that authority's boundaries. But it is a local government representative. Our previous one did not want to be reappointed. There is a strong possibility that the population will be such later this year or next year that the position will convert to an elected position by the residents of that authority. So But in the meantime, we do need to appoint somebody. The administrator from Bricker and Eckler, who are the attorneys for this one, requested that we please do. So I'm willing to throw Heather Van Hull, our new communications assistant, into the deep end and have her take this position.
She looks very excited.
Yes. I think it's going to be a great way for her to get to see some of how the sausage is made, if you will. So, yeah. So we recommend your approval.
Questions or comments? Vote.
Vote on motion 21-448. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Resolution number 21-449, in the matter of adopting a Delaware County facilities use policy for Delaware County.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion?
Okay. This one is really kind of a formality. We're not changing anything substantive with our policy on who can use our facilities, outside groups, or when or where or how. It's really our permit request form, the application that they fill out. Just the spaces that are available have changed since we moved here into this building. So especially with the changes still coming in the Carnegie building, we're taking that off the list, the fishbowl room, conference room A. We're taking it off the list. It's still entirely possible someone could request it, and on a case-by-case basis, if it works with the law library's needs, we could allow an outside group to use it. But at this point, it's not going to be one of our main options. We have added the 2 meeting rooms in this building, the 203, the training room down here, and then 303 up on the 3rd floor. And we've just specified that it's room 235, and Hayes is the one that a lot of outside groups are interested in. But by far the meeting space that outside groups want to use is the Willis conference room, and that stays on there. So those are
Questions or
the
comments?
changes.
Vote.
Vote on motion 21-449. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 21-450, in the matter of appointing a member to the Delaware Metropolitan Housing Authority.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion?
And with this one, for the Delaware Metropolitan Housing Authority, we are recommending the appointment of Amanda Fava as our appointee.
Questions or comments? I just want to thank both applicants and for their willingness to serve, and all I have to say. Anything else? Vote.
Vote on motion 21-450. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution
you.
number 21-451, in the matter of approving a transfer of appropriations for the Board of Elections.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion?
Good morning, Commissioners. Mike Fromer, County Administrator. In order to fully utilize the grant funds that the Board of Election received, we need to do these transfer appropriations.
Questions or comments? Vote.
Vote on motion 21-451. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 21-452, in the matter of approving the request for proposal documents and setting the date and time to receive proposals from contractors for the provision of copiers and copier maintenance services for Delaware County offices.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion?
Commissioners, we have before you a RFP for a 5-year term with the option for an additional. One of our consultants, Bob Singer, has been working very hard with the Commissioner's office and departments as well as the elected officials to consolidate and prepare for this, countywide bid for copier services. Several departments have held off on any new purchases for probably over a year now. And as you can see, there'll be several that will be initially replaced with this contract, and then others that will be replaced in the 5-year term.
See, Mr. Singer's with us today. Do you have anything you want to add? I just want to compliment you for the work you've done in the past and future. I think this project is going to be successful because of that groundwork that's been laid, and I think this is one of our first opportunities to really make a difference purchasing-wise in our county. And also the elected officials who have all been, to my knowledge, all very supportive. I'm getting a nod of confirming that. And this only works because all the electeds are willing to make it work, and we thank you for that. I don't know if anyone else has anything to add?
Yeah, I think Bob did a great job of pulling all the information together. That was certainly a challenge because it's scattered all over all the county offices and departments, and it was extremely helpful in understanding just what copier services we have and the costs associated with them and their timelines, when they're going to expire and so on. So I want to thank Bob for that and for all the county offices and departments who worked on it. And we got consistent compliments that this is a good thing to do for a whole bunch of reasons. It'll save money, make it easier because all the departments and offices can't be copier experts. And these things are complicated. So again, just good to see, and thanks to everybody for. And this will hopefully be a template for future purchasing ideas that we can use the county's buying power more effectively.
Yeah, we just did this then through the pre-hospital care board too. We saw where the bringing together the power of everyone and being able to pay less. So, but I would like to thank Bob too. Thank him. I'm sure it was quite a project bringing everybody together and ascertaining what their needs are and putting it into a package. Thank you.
You probably ought to go, if you're going to talk, probably should come up here because you can't be heard.
I just want to say I'd like to thank Eric and Mike and Karen for helping in putting the bid together.
Thank you, Bob.
So the bids are due mid-June?
Correct.
16th. And what's the process after that then? Oh my.
Oh, wow.
The bid should be complete, I believe, June 22nd. And equipment starting to be installed 1st July, if not the end of June.
Okay. And I know I heard from one vendor, potential vendor. I assume you've heard from others and expect to receive multiple bids on
We've
this.
got several vendors that are
Good.
chomping at the bit to
Good. Good. Good to see.
Yeah,
Bob,
and
I remember the presentation you presented to us, I'm going to guess a year ago, how thorough it was and how complete it was. And if I recall, 70-something copiers throughout the county, if I remember correctly. And that report really set the stage for everything else because it was so precise, so concise, and made it easy to really appreciate the opportunity.
Well, as a result of that study, actually some departments have even consolidated some of their equipment since that time after they reviewed it. So I think 63 now. Engineering is still going to be servicing 2 of their pieces of equipment. And there is only one other copier that is not included in the program.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you very much,
All right,
Bob.
thank you, Bob.
Any other questions or comments?
Do we have to vote?
Oh,
We already
we
voted.
haven't voted yet. Vote.
Vote on motion 21-452. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye. That brings us to administrative reports. Mr. Farmer.
Yes, Commissioners. I just wanted to provide you guys with an experience I had over the weekend. Olentangy Schools did graduation, and I know the decision that they made to do the drive-through was, criticized pretty heavily. The senior salutes were done on Friday night at each of the stadiums, and then also the drive-through. And it was an excellent weekend, and everybody left it feeling like this was a better alternative than cramming into the Schottenstein Center. And also it was just fantastic, to see in the stadium all the kids be together. It's the first time throughout the last year and a half that they, have been all together for a period of time. It just felt like things were getting back to normal, with the events and stuff that took care, this weekend. I think Mark Rafe played the weather perfect both days. And
Wow.
kudos to him for taking a photo with probably 1,600 seniors over 2 days. So he put in a lot of time. It would have been easier for him to pass him a diploma on stage than to take a photo with each one. So that's all I have.
Commissioner Lewis.
Yeah, I was going to ask how many graduating seniors, there were 1,600. Is the next class coming up about the bigger?
With all the, like Olentangy was 320 and Liberty was 502, and so it just kind of averages through all of them. Now, the most creative drive-through was somebody had a boat that they were trailering through it, and their graduate was in the boat. So that, there was, people were very creative in their approach to this. So.
Yeah. Oh, gee. That's
That
great.
wasn't you with the bow, was it?
No,
Was
no.
it you?
Commissioner Benton?
Yeah, we saw that firsthand because I live in Olentangy Crossings, which is real close to Olentangy High School. And we saw all kinds of traffic on 23 and on Lewis Center Road, and we saw balloons and streamers and all sorts of decorated vehicles of all different types, driving around. So it was, and I also heard feedback from neighbors that had kids graduate that they just loved it. They thought it was great. So, again, kudos to the school board, Mark Rafe, for taking advantage of an obstacle and creating a new way to celebrate graduation. And Mike, I believe your son graduated as well, and congratulations to
Well,
him.
that's correct.
So
He
he's
made it.
Ohio Northern bound.
He's gonna be a Ohio Northern polar bear. So.
All right. Just a couple of things. Had our Central Ohio Youth Center meeting last Thursday. That went fine. Things are good there. Treasurer's Regional Advisory Board that I chair is this Wednesday with a number of the jurisdictions, working on a whole bunch of initiatives with the state treasurer to provide funding ideas and bonding and so on, sharing ideas and working on that. And then Mary Beth Freeman's retirement party from DACC is Wednesday, I think it is. Or is it Thursday?
4:30 to 6 or 4 to 5:30 maybe?
Yeah, something like that. So I want to congratulate Mary Beth Freeman and thank her. Look at the transition they've made from their North Campus to their South Campus. What a wonderful facility that is, and all her great programs and attendance and so on. So it's just congratulations to her for leading that organization to new heights in her tenure. And lastly, I have to congratulate Phil Mickelson on his win of the PGA Major, the oldest person ever to win a major at 50. So there's hope for all of us.
Even me?
Well, maybe the super seniors, Gary, I don't know.
Oh, my God.
I only have a couple things.
I've just got one thing.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Was on a reentry meeting last week, and pardon me, good news that everyone in the jail can now receive their meds and their medications. This came about because of Justice Stratton retired and stepping up. She contacted the Ohio Pharmacy Board, and the Ohio Pharmacy Board gave the authority to a nurse to give the medication within the jail, because what was happening was that they were not able to coordinate the times that a doctor could be in the jail. And so now that's all worked out, and that is going into effect statewide. So just shows the benefit of stepping up. And there are also federal emergency housing vouchers that are helping those who are coming out of jail, and also the homeless. And another report from SourcePoint. They are compiling information to seniors on affordable housing and coming up with a directory of housing resources. And that's it.
Just a couple things. I had a CCOA board meeting Friday, virtual. We're getting close to the end of those. I can't wait. I think in July or the next one more, and then they'll go back to in person. And you're talking about the schools. I believe the groundbreaking on the new middle schools is Thursday out of Berlin, and so they continue to grow. I have nothing else. I do believe we have need for executive session.
We do. Resolution number 21-453, in the matter of adjourning into executive session for consideration of employment and compensation of a public employee or public official.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion. Vote.
Vote on motion 21-453. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
With that, we are now in executive session.